Last Christmas, I asked for just about my favorite thing in the world, role playing games. Among the games I got included D20 Modern, which has actually swiftly risen to place in my top 10 list of my favorite games. Most of the books I got were used because they're older and finding new ones for a good price can be somewhat impossible. Um, so, being used, sometimes the books have stuff in them. Like bookmarks and pencil scratches and whatnot. Imagine my surprise when this fell out of my D20 Modern book when I opened it for the first time. This is an actual picture of a dead person circa 2002. So I was pretty freaked out by that. Like, I know it was ridiculous, but like it was just so shocking and unexpected, and the photo is really graphic. Um, a lot of my players actually jokingly said that I should run a game that focuses around a haunted game master book and the photograph of the last game master who was killed. I thought that was pretty funny, and I didn't end up doing that. But what I did do was end up running a horror game for my very first D20 Modern adventure. So, as such, I thought I would take this time to tell you all about how to run the perfect horror game. Tip number one, player buy in. As ridiculous as it seems, sometimes you need to agree to be scared. That's why horror films are often the most frightening when you see them in theaters. As you go in with the expectation of being afraid, it works kind of the same way in RPGs or really anything. You as players know what being afraid is, and you should roleplay accordingly. I find that it actually helps to have everyone say, I will be scared at the start of a horror game session. It really sets up an expectation and has people fill in the atmosphere for you. Speaking of atmosphere, turn the lights down. If you're playing online, turn all the lights off and lower your screen brightness. If you're playing in person, make sure you can at least see your character sheet and the dice. One of the most fun horror games I've played in, the GM provided us with flashlights and plenty of spare D batteries that we could use to read. That GM also had a light underneath his GM screen to light up his face and give a really spooky, old school horror effect. Along those same lines, tip number three, eliminate distractions. Nothing kills the mood of a horror game faster than somebody walking in and asking one of the players where the cat is at. Well, basically eat beforehand, make sure your drinks are easily on hand, and see if you can ask your housemates, if you have any, to give you some privacy for a few hours. If you aren't expecting a phone call, put your phone on silent and put it in your pocket. I know it's kind of obvious, but it's rude to be using your phone during a game session anyway. But it's especially important that you stay focused on the game and only the game in a horror game. Tip number four, GMs, get yourself some good music to use. Try to avoid popular horror movie themes, though, as they can be a little distracting. Sure, the Halloween theme might be really fun in the movies, and of course around Halloween, but in your horror game, it can get people thinking about, well, Michael Myers rather than what you're actually trying to do. But if you can get some good mood music and play it when appropriate, you can really enhance the fear, just like it does in a film. Tip number five, last but not least, do your research. Ask your players what their favorite horror films are and watch them. Try to figure out what it is about scary movies that's scary to you. Research the tropes, use them to your advantage. Maybe subvert them a little. And if you happen to have some sweet props on hand, absolutely go for it. Sometimes your Cthulhu game is really enhanced by the Diary of a Madman that one of your friends found in a graveyard. Well, for Cthulhu, of course, and maybe some crime scene photos for a modern slasher fic. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic evening. And don't forget to agree to be scared.